That's because we're living in bizarro world.
Bizarro world. We definitely are in bizarro world, even though the beat goes on. Yeah, that's an oldie from Sonny and Cher. Yeah, we thought that was a pretty cool song back in the day. Have you ever noticed how different songs are between yesterday and today? One, we could understand the words. Today, we don't want to understand the words. All right, anyways, I'm Ann Eller right here with you this morning. We're not in Bizarro World. We are in Ann's World. No, excuse me. We're in Penny's World. That's right. We're in Penny's World. She's wearing her little Palmetto shirt here today. She goes, "What's on the agenda today, Ann? I want something fun to do today." Oh, well. You know, that's the same thing kids say to their parents all the time, isn't it? "I want something fun to do. What are we going to do?" Oh, wait a minute. Let me try this in another voice. "I want something fun to do. Why can't we do something fun?" Well, because we can't. All right. We got a lot of stuff to get to. You know, as usual, you never know what's going to happen to you. Last week we had, here in the state of South Carolina, we had debates going on. We had question, is President Donald Trump going to endorse a candidate, or is he going to stay out of it? You know, there was a lot of reasons not to endorse. A lot of reasons not to endorse. I guess the president decided that endorsing was the better path to take. I don't know. He could piss off a lot of people. You know, everybody's talking about how great it is that we have this ability to have instant news and all this kind of stuff. But what we're really missing here, folks, is heart, I think, is heart. But anyways, let me just start opening up here this morning. I'll get into that a little bit later. I want to talk about the endorsement, of course, that Trump decided to make for Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette. She has been harping on this thing all along. I can't decide if he goes, "Oh, all right, Pam, I'll give you the endorsement. Quit bugging me about it," or what the deal is. But anyways, he has made the endorsement, and he made an interesting addition to that endorsement. I don't know. Is that a caveat? Is that your endorsement is conditional? Well, we'll talk about it in a few minutes. Love to get your opinions. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. 864-332-9355. It's also, we are live on Facebook, and Penny is just snoozing away. Might as well put it on me. I mean, that's at least I'm alive. Anyways, would love to have your company here this morning. We're on Facebook Live. We're on the radio, too. You can make a comment on Facebook. We already got some comments coming in on Facebook. So that's WCRS Radio. And then, of course, 864-332-9355. So we have the Trump endorsement. Ralph Norman has now decided to make his lieutenant governor choice, so he's supposed to be announcing that today, but of course he had to put that out over the weekend. I mean, it's not a big surprise. I guess it'll just be, this is a confirmation of the post that was out there. Yes. All right, we'll talk about that in just a second. I want to talk about coming up on Tuesday evening. They have moved where county council is going to meet. Yes, it's in an effort to throw you off so you don't know where they're meeting. No, that's not true. I think they think they're going to have so many people there that they had to move to a bigger venue. So they've moved to the Greenwood Performing Arts Center over there on Greenwood High's campus. That's where they're going to be. We'll check on that. We're also going to be talking about a hidden part of Lincoln Memorial. I never knew this. Saw a story about that. How about the human library story out there? That's kind of a cool story. You don't check out books. You get to talk to a human for 30 minutes. You can't check the books out because... Here you go, because their story has not been written. Yeah, there you go. All right, and then we have some events coming up locally right here in Greenwood. Coming up on Thursday, the Museum Revolution exhibit is going to be opening up Thursday. They'll have a reception on that. We, of course, had our breakfast for a bunch. The Greenwood Rehabilitation Hospital, the therapy department, has won breakfast for a bunch from Chick-fil-A. So congratulations to them. Deidre sent us a message on our telephone, 864-332-9355. And Chick-fil-A said, we would be delighted to do something a little surprising for you. So expect a call from them, Deidre, and they will be setting that all up for you. So how about that? And then, of course, there was a very moving veterans, there's a veterans fundraiser on Friday, but then there also was a beautiful DJ Keller tribute at Nave baseball field over there on the Civic Center, the old Civic Center property, the Greenwood County Recreational Site. So we're going to be talking about all of these things. But first off, I think we ought to get the weather. Somebody just asked me, what did you do this weekend? Well, y'all would be really proud. I worked in my backyard, and actually it was a great day. It was great to do that, and I got to finish up a project I've been working on. Actually, it's not finished, but it is coming together rather nicely. So I enjoyed that. Penny enjoyed getting in the mud and this type of thing. So she's keeping her red color. Definitely red. All right, what have we got today? Right now it is 70 degrees outside. Isn't that lovely? Feels like 70 degrees. We are at a high today of 84 and a low of 65. Says thunderstorms are possible after 3 p.m. So let's check that. Partly cloudy this morning with thunderstorms becoming likely this afternoon. Gusty winds and small hail are possible. Wow. Winds light and variable. Chance of rain is 60%. Let's go ahead and see. Right now, I think they're telling us that it will be after 3 this afternoon, but let's just check on that and see what they say. No, we got to stay right here, Penny. Stay right here. Yep, stay right here. So we will see what we've got. Yeah, pretty much this morning doesn't really look like. About 4 o'clock this afternoon, it's up to about a 70% chance of rain. Most of the day up to that point, it is in the 15%, not bad. 5 p.m., it drops back to 18%, 6 p.m., it's back to 15%. So we may get another shower later in the evening, but it is in that 4 to 5 p.m. where we may get a shower. It looks like it's a definite possibility. Well, I do want to remind you that you can give us a call. Give us a call. There's Penny. She's sitting up here this morning, and she has a penny for your thoughts. 864-332-9355. Give us a call. That's Penny. And there she is, sitting there at attention. All right. So we got a comment coming here on Facebook. Let's see what we got. Isn't it amazing that some of us grew up without the technology? None of our choices had batteries. We did not have cable. What'd she say? We did not have cable or Netflix or any of that, and these kids are bored. That is the truth. None of our toys had batteries. That's true. That's true. I think we had better imaginations, although I think the imaginations of kids today are still out there, but they're just a little different. Ours was more down to earth. Our things got to the idea of being, for me, it was being able to ride my bike in the street and not allowing my sister to ride her bike in the street. Then telling her it was okay to ride her bike in the street, and then telling on her if she did ride her bike in the street. God, I was warped. Anyways, I had a little power back then. I was the oldest in our family. That's right. All right. Well, let's talk about, let's get started with our story, our main story here. Well, I've got several, but Trump endorsing Pamela Evitt. Here's the thing, folks. They always say, when they want something to not, I repeat, not to get a lot of news reporting, a lot of oxygen, a lot of comments and everything, what do? They release it on a Friday afternoon or Friday evening. They released the report that Donald Trump on Truth Social said he was endorsing Pamela Evitt. What was it? 5:30 in the afternoon. I don't know what that says to me, but anyways, that's what it says. It also went on to say that they were so glad that Trump was so glad that she had picked Governor McMaster's son to be her lieutenant governor running mate. Now, I don't know about to you, but that sounds like some people said, oh, he just let it slip and get out of the bag. I don't think so. I think this was intentional. Now, I could be wrong, and you can argue with me if you want, 864-332-9355, or you can post it right here on Facebook. Now, I've got to qualify this. We don't have evidence of a formal deal. I just want to go on the record with that. We do have McMaster is backing Evitt. We do have Trump endorsing Evitt Friday evening. Trump publicly mentioning McMaster's son as her running mate. And we have, of course, the long-standing McMaster-Trump alliance. And political benefit flowing among all parties. I mean, it's a benefit to McMaster. It's a benefit, I guess, to Trump to be able to make McMaster happy, to be able to count on. This brings up an interesting point. When McMaster goes out of office, the first part of, in January, when they swear in the new governor, what will Henry do? I hadn't even thought about this, but maybe in this deal, there's a job for Henry in there somewhere. I mean, I don't know this. I'm just saying this could be another one of those, you do this, I'll do this, this'll happen. Okay. But anyways, it does bring up a lot of questions, doesn't it, to us as to why he made this endorsement. Now, at the time that he did, Friday evening at 5:30. I will say this, that that there was a lot on the line for him to endorse Pam. There's a lot on the line for him not to endorse. I mean, look at the number of people that he has the potential to piss off that are still in Congress. Joe Wilson, Ralph Norman, Nancy Mace. There's three right there. Not to mention that, a week ago, 10 days ago maybe now, he endorsed the candidate running against Massey. And he's now doesn't have to hold allegiance to the president. And people are going to say, well, he never did anyway, Zan. No, he spoke his mind. And then, of course, there's Cornyn down there in Texas. So with a very slim majority, how would you like to be Mike Johnson sitting there trying to corral the Speaker of the House, trying to corral everybody to to vote for the president's agenda. I could see this being difficult, folks. I could see this being difficult. So right now, he has at least 5 people who may not be in his court because they have no reason. They don't have to be in his court. So just thought I would mention that. The other thing that's happened with Donald Trump's endorsement, he waits till the very last minute to endorse. I mean, it's down to 2 weeks. We're already in early voting. I guess a lot of the thoughts were, how does this play out as far as voting? And we'll just have to wait and see. But we don't know what deal was made. We don't know if there was a deal made. But I just want to go on the record and say this. Okay, for the whole time, it's been McMaster, Evatt, McMaster, Evatt. That's the way it's done. Now, I think it's of note that maybe she spoke about it this morning, but so far this weekend, Pamela Evatt had not even mentioned that, yes, she's excited about having McMaster as her lieutenant governor person. If she hasn't mentioned it as of late last night. She hadn't mentioned it. So what does that mean? You would think you would be excited, like, oh yeah, we got the Trump team, we got McMaster's son. But I just want to say this in all fairness. Here we go. So it's been McMaster, Evatt, McMaster, Evatt. So if this comes to pass, and it looks like it would almost have to come to pass since Donald said this and he gave her his endorsement, is it going to be Evatt McMaster? Evatt McMaster? I don't know, folks. I'm not sure I really like that. So the question is, and maybe you'd like to weigh in on this, is this political succession or political consolidation? Do you think that this is political succession or political consolidation? That, I think, is an interesting point to make here. I'm basically asking, has the McMaster political organization positioned itself to continue through an Evatt administration? Well, if that's true, I hate to say this, Henry, we didn't see much action from you in the last year. We did not see you out there leading. We saw you leading from behind. But that's just my personal opinion here today. But has the McMaster political organization positioned itself to continue through an Evatt administration? I think this is a fair question. Let's see what we've got coming here. One of our texters says, my personal opinion, Trump has drawn a line in the sand so many times with Iran and with tariffs. Think he's lost some of his credibility, and an endorsement from him could hurt a candidate. Wow, okay. Well, we hadn't talked about that side of it. Could that work against Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evatt? I'm sure she's not thinking so. After all, she's been saying she's going to get that endorsement, and by God, this is like being out there fishing. She's had that fish and that catfish, that fish on the line for how long? And she's been trying to reel it in. Well, finally she did. But what's your opinion? Does that endorsement from President Trump put you more firmly in Pamela Evatt's court? If you have not voted, if you have voted, are you glad that you did vote for her? Or do you say, no, this was a bridge too far, putting Junior in there for McMaster, but you've already voted? Or is it influencing you on voting for her now? I think that's a real question. I do think everybody was real careful this weekend, all of the candidates, on what they said. Most of them made the point about her taking on McMaster as her lieutenant governor. Yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out. It's been McMaster Evatt. Now it's going to be Evatt McMaster. Do we like the ring to that? Do we think that has continuity? Does it give you a dynasty perception, political inheritance, establishment versus independent leadership? Has it actually forced you to look at some of the other candidates? That would be my other question. So 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. What do you think about this morning? Let's see. Well, looks like if I'd love to hear from you, you can, of course, comment right there on Facebook Live, WCRS Radio, or 864-332-9355. Okay, let's move on and talk about something else here, because this is pretty huge, I think. In fact, let's take a quick break, and we come back. I got a lot more to talk about, so you keep it right here on WCRS Radio. Remember, we're living in Bizarro World.
Your Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evatt.
Bringing President Trump's agenda to South Carolina, Pamela Evatt.
Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evatt. She's fantastic.
When Trump ran for president, I stood by him every time, even when others turned their back. Now I'm going one step further, bringing President Trump's America First agenda to South Carolina.
Pamela Evatt and Governor Henry McMaster led the charge in South Carolina, banning sanctuary cities, defending life and the Second Amendment, protecting women's sports. That's why Governor Henry McMaster has endorsed Pamela Evatt for governor.
We keep winning with Pamela Evatt as our next governor.
With President Trump in the White House and a proven conservative in the governor's mansion, there's no limit to what South Carolina can achieve.
Business leader, America First conservative, Pamela Evatt for governor.
Your lieutenant governor is going places. You do know that, right?
Paid for by Evatt for governor.
The Road to the Revolution in the Upstate. Opening reception Thursday, June 4th, 5 p.m. at the Greenwood Museum. Sponsored by the museum and Greenwood County 250 Coalition. Featuring an upcoming lecture series on who were the Patriots, who were the Loyalists, who held Star Fort, and how did people live in the backcountry. Remember, the Greenwood Museum, dedicated to sharing, saving, and celebrating Greenwood's history. See you Thursday, June 4th, 5 p.m.
Hi, this is John McCravey. I've been proud to stand firm for our Christian conservative values in Columbia, and I've advocated for the local issues that impact our community every day. Whether it's protecting Lake Greenwood or simply being available when you need help, I've always believed in being responsive to the people that I serve. If you need me, you can call me directly at 864-396-3110. If you're not in my contact list, text me and leave a message. I'm John McCravey, and I'm proud to approve this message.
Mark Lynch claims he's the conservative choice to represent South Carolina, but his past tells a different story. Multiple DUIs, a hit-and-run arrest, a cocaine trafficking conviction, and that's just the beginning of U.S. Senate candidate Mark Lynch's rap sheet. Lynch's own business was caught red-handed violating immigration laws, the very laws designed to protect American jobs from illegal workers. And now we learn that some of Lynch's closest advisors think that women shouldn't even be allowed to vote, and also accused the President of the United States of orchestrating 9/11. One advisor even supported an alleged pedophile. Mark Lynch, a rap sheet fit for a convict, not a United States senator, and a past far too problematic to represent us. Palmetto Action is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by Palmetto Action. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.palmettoaction.com.
Never give up. never surrender. Never give up, never surrender. Never give up, never surrender. You heard it, WCRS. We will never give up, never surrender. Keep listening right here on WCRS. We try harder because we will never give up. We will never surrender. Oh, that's right. We will never give up. We will never surrender. That's right. I'm Anella. Right here from the bunker over here at WCRS in the bomb shelter. Penny and I are holding the fort down over here today. That's right. So we've talked a little bit about the Pamela Yvette getting the endorsement. Everybody was jockeying for it. She was trying real hard for it, and finally she landed that fish. That's right. So Stephanie says she says also she thinks, in her opinion, Pamela Yvette handled the USC graduation very poorly. I felt like she handled it very immaturely, and it affected her the way I think of her. Well, I think a lot of people had some opinions about that too, Steph. So we'll see how this is going to shake out. It's here. It's coming. You know, the Temptations. Hold on, I'm coming. Election week is here. So let's move on and talk about another topic here. We've talked about Pam here and her big endorsement. Will she choose, even though Trump has said she has? It just seems so odd that she hasn't mentioned it. And what's Junior McMaster standing in the off the stage is ready to come out and go, yeah, I'm with you, Pam. When's that gonna happen? That's what we all want to know. All right. So Ralph Norman has come out and said that he is going to pick Andy Morgan for his lieutenant governor. He's supposed to announce that today. I don't know what he was waiting for, but I guess he wanted to get Monday morning to get it out there. Andy Morgan is reportedly expected. Interesting from the standpoint of that was one of the people, I believe, that I had heard that Pam was thinking about. So I guess once you put, this is like dominoes, right? Once you put that dominoes and then you hit it, things just start click, 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 falling in place. So we'll see how that plays out for Ralph Norman. Nancy Mace is the only one that so far I don't believe has anybody that she is looking at, or she's not going to say anything about it, maybe before the primary. Nancy Mace is saying she really had his endorsement, but because she pushed for the Epstein files, he pushed her out, and she's making the claim that, I would do that. I would do that regardless. If an endorsement required I keep quiet about Epstein, I'm not going to do it. So that's where Nancy Mace is. So that's a couple of other points there. On some other things that were closer right here in Greenwood that I want to make sure that we touch on. What an outpouring of love and support for DJ Keller Friday night. The Greenwood community came together to remember and support DJ Keller. The Greenwood community had their game out there. It was Veterans Appreciation Night, and they had a special evening of baseball at the Greenwood Post 20 game. And that's at the Lakeland Summer Classic Invitational. During Veterans and First Responders Night, Greenwood Police Sergeant Don J.G. Keller was honored. So, throughout the evening, Sergeant Keller's service and sacrifice will be remembered. The community to come out and help and honor. They were selling T-shirts for DJ Keller's widow, and police chief TJ Shadone said, the way our communities reacted and the way our officers in our department and all of our departments around the different communities have supported DJ's wife and his family has been amazing. During the game, memorial T-shirts were sold and all proceeds going directly to Sergeant Keller's wife and his 2-year-old daughter. La Mesa Boutique is partnered with Emerald Ink and Stitches and the Greenwood Police Department to sell shirts, wristbands, and stickers. So this was really, really something and quite a turnout for it. So it was, as was said, it was hard to prepare for this event, but it still was a great outpouring. So I wanted to say something about this. The game, of course, started at 7:30 at Greenwood Legion Stadium. Ty Vines, the athletic director for Greenwood American Legion Post 20, said the final score never mattered. We want to honor what DJ Keller was. He was doing his job, and unfortunate what happened. The community is strong enough, and we will bounce back. So that was a really nice thing to do, and a way to keep DJ's memory alive. And of course, now they're selling the T-shirts. They have made significant dollars through just the sale of the signs, Back the Blue signs that have been being sold. And you're seeing them popping up around the community now, which is kind of cool to see that. So I wanted to mention that. I thought that was a very, very good event. To do that. They do have another game tonight. I tell you what, they are busy there over there. Now that the season has opened, they are busy everywhere. So tonight there's a game, and I did see, let's see if I can find this real quick. I did see where they needed, what did they need? Did I read a scorekeeper? What did I see? Scoreboard operator needed for tonight's game, junior varsity game. 6 o'clock, contact Ty at 864-407-8876. So if you'd like to get the feel and being part of a baseball game and everything, that might be something you'd like to do. That is tonight at 6 o'clock out at the baseball field, the American Legion baseball field out there. This is post 20. They would love to have somebody volunteer to help them. 864-407-8876. So do check that out. So that's another thing coming up. I wanted to share a story here. Have I got this story here? Yes, I want to talk about Breakfast for a Bunch here. Breakfast for a Bunch is really coming on strong. The next Breakfast for the Bunch will be, somewhere, where are we at? Am I into June? Should be the 11th, so next week. So you have a whole 2 weeks to put people in. Now, I recommend let's make more people get excited about winning Breakfast for a Bunch. This, of course, is our promotion that we're working with Chick-fil-A on. They want to do something delightful and surprising and honor a business group right here in Greenwood. So, what do you got to do? Just contact me, WCRS, at 864-332-9355. That's 864-332-9355. We've already had Frank's Car Wash. The guys and gals over there are getting a free breakfast. That's right. And this is not just, here's a biscuit. No, they actually customize it to what you want. This week's winner, so congratulations to Frank's Car Wash. This week's winner is the Greenwood Rehabilitation Hospital. Their therapy department was, Deidre said, we really would love to have some love over here. We work hard helping our patients and everything. So they are our latest winner for our giveaway with Breakfast for a Bunch. So if you'd like to do that, whether it's a group that's working outside, working hard, or whether they work in offices, or it's maybe a nonprofit group that does a lot of good work out there, anybody that you think we should shine the light on, this is your opportunity to help us shine the light on them by making that referral. 864-332-9355. Please make sure you give us your name, because guess what? You win something special for nominating them. So do it today. Don't wait. 864-332-9355. All right, so we've got breakfast for a bunch. That's right. First responders, your own workplace, church group, businesses, hardworking crews. So we love surprising folks who work hard and often never get recognized. So that is so, so true. Coming up, also coming up is the American Revolution exhibit. It's a new exhibit on the Revolutionary War in connection with America 250 at the museum. That kicks off Thursday evening at 5 o'clock. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a great summer exhibit. But if you can be there at 5, be there at 5 and join us and see all the things we don't know, right? See all the things we don't know. Now, let's go back to a couple of other stories here that I wanted to share with you. This thing with, oh my gosh. This thing with Greenwood County has decided that they are going to move the meeting because they've had so much response lately. And I guess the response at the Planning Commission was kind of overwhelming, that they've decided that they are going to move it to Greenwood Performing Arts Center over there at Greenwood High School. So that is a lovely facility, has lots of room over there. The Greenwood County regular meeting will be at 5:30 right there at the Greenwood Performing Arts Center. I guess they decided to move it because data centers. I don't think there's anything else any more significant than the data centers. And so I guess they want to be able to give people the opportunity to speak, and they anticipate a huge crowd to be there, and they should be there. I don't know. I really don't know where this will go. I believe this is second reading. And of course, the Planning Commission said that they voted for a moratorium for 2 years. Now, I don't know. Do you know how this is going to turn out? I don't know how this is going to turn out. Greenwood County Council does not, I repeat, does not have to honor that, right? They do not have to honor that. So, will they vote for going forward with this zoning thing that includes data centers or not? This is going to be second reading, I do believe. So I guess they could vote to go ahead and do something on it, or they could vote to just move it forward to the next thing, or they could vote to shut it down. That is going to be the question. Your voice and your being there means a lot. You know, it's one thing when you have to look out over a audience and see all the people sitting there, and then I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people wanting to make comments. This, of course, will be broadcast live. They will be doing it live. So you'll be able to watch it on YouTube through the Greenwood County page. But if you want to be there and you want to speak, you probably need to see about signing up by noon today. But this is a big issue. And the very fact that the Planning Commission voted to put a moratorium on it makes it seem like, in my opinion, there's been a lot of conversation. I'll just say this. There's been a lot of conversation. And out there in the hinterlands, Dun, 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 dun. The drumbeat is that there are possibly two. I mean, if you read everything that's out there and you talk to some of the people that I have the ability to talk to, it seems like there is a possibility of at least one data center coming our way. So the people have risen up, and this is not just Greenwood County, but across the state, actually across the nation. They say that data centers are necessary, but nobody wants them in their backyard, and rightfully so. The noise, the electricity, the water, these are all things that are needed in order to run a data center. And I think for people who would be living near it, the noise factor is even one of the big things, So this is going to be an interesting meeting to watch. Will County Council put it off for third reading. Will County Council bend to the will of the people and put a moratorium and be gracious and say, I think that's a great idea. Let's investigate and take 24 months, and let's take that off the table of anything that y'all need to worry about. I don't know. Steph says, I think something people need to consider is the millionaires and the billionaires do not want these data centers in their backyard. Well, isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? And neither do our representatives, and there's a good reason for that. And isn't that the truth? I talked to somebody the other day that said, why not, if we're going to have data centers, why not put them down there at the Savannah River plant? They're already have nothing around there. It would be an excellent area. I thought putting them out in the desert was a good place where nobody lives. But I don't know, folks. This is going to be an interesting, that's tomorrow night at 5:30. All right, so that's a huge one. Meeting moved to the Greenwood Performing Arts Center. They're going to have, they expect a large crowd. I'm sure they're going to have a large crowd. The data center concerns and growth conversation. So whether you support it or oppose it, people are showing up and paying attention, and that's what matters. I think it is terrific that people are getting involved in our local government, because our local government is what is closest to the people, and it is what matters. Oh, Steph, that's a good one. Perhaps everyone should sit down and watch Erin Brockovich again. You remember that gal that was, they had, what did they have, a nuclear power plant or something, and the birds were dying and this was dying and people were getting cancer, and the feds kept saying, no, there's no problem. Well, she decided to go out and prove that, yes, there was a problem, and she was successful. And that was actually, you know, a true story. That was a good movie. That was with, who was it? Good actress. Anyways, and but Erin Brockovich was a real person, This was a factual story. So if you haven't seen that one, you might want to check that out. All right, as we move forward here, I would love to talk about a couple of stories that I saw on CBS Sunday morning. The Lincoln Memorial. Did you happen to catch that story on Sunday morning? I had no idea. Now, I've been to the Lincoln Memorial. I've walked all around it and everything. But I did not know, this is a piece of trivia that you might find interesting. I did not know that when they were building the Lincoln Memorial, it almost fell into the swamp. Yeah, Washington, D.C. really is a swamp. No, I'm just teasing. All right, but they were really having a problem, and they were afraid that the Lincoln Memorial was going to sink into the ground. So they made this very unbelievable underground system with, they call it the undercroft beneath the memorial. And it's hidden engineering, and it's like these... What was it, 50-story? Is that right? I think so. 50-story concrete pylons that go down into the ground to support the Lincoln Memorial. Kind of makes you wonder if you should be on the Lincoln Memorial. But yes, and so they're going to open this up because of America 250. They're going to open this up. They've been working to clean it up and make it so that people can go through there and really see the magnificent engineering that went through to put this together. So it's been preserved. They're preparing for expanded access. I think June 25th, I think, is when they plan to open this up. I just thought that was a fascinating story. So if you didn't get to see that and you want to go back, it was on CBS Sunday Morning, one of my favorite shows to watch for just other news that is out there. And my second story that's also from the Greenwood, from the CBS Sunday Morning, is the human library story. All right, Ann, you're over the edge. You are over the edge. Not really. Not really. It is something about, people being into books, but instead of being able to read a book at a library, you actually you can't check it out, but you can talk to a human at the library. And there are a couple of these libraries and they're starting to pop up, not in our area. I think the first one was it over in Sweden, Norway, somewhere like that. And it's the idea, they have no books in the library. They just have people conversating about different topics. And you can have a half-hour time with this person about topics. And, I actually started thinking about it, and I thought, that's what we do right here on WCRS. We conversate about all kinds of topics, particularly on Meet Me at the Diner. And what a concept to have a library with no books, just people, and these volunteers can be leased out for half-hour conversations. Now, you can't take them home because the rest of the story may not have been written. Wah, 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 wah. So I thought that was an interesting concept. With one of the things, remember many years ago when the internet first started, libraries were one of the first things that they said that would go away. And yet, today, we still need libraries. Libraries are still being built. In fact, we're building one right over there at Lander. Because of the knowledge and because of the history. Now, they may be put together differently. And can you imagine having somebody just sitting there saying, well, when am I going to get asked to come talk about something? I've got something to say. But the very fact that so many things are news, we don't really get a lot of our news from or our information from books anymore. We get it all on the internet. And yet libraries are still in vogue. The Greenwood County Library down here does very well. And they're constantly making efforts to make them relevant. So I think it is an interesting time when books that have been written from the past are as relevant today because of the topics that they cover. So as I wind it up here today, I just want to say this election here in South Carolina is getting lots and lots of attention. I don't know how it's going to turn out. As of Friday, I haven't seen the latest numbers. If there's anything absolutely more concrete than what we had. But they were very, very close, within half a point of each other. Pamela Evett, Alan Wilson, was it Ron Reddy was in third place and Ralph Norman in fourth. I may have the third and fourth mixed up. I tell you what, another person, if you haven't made up your mind, you really ought to take a look at. If you're not looking for the standard approach to politics, the standard politicians, you should take a look at Ron Reddy. He's a different politician. And if you really are looking at change, maybe you will want to check that out. I don't know. I'm just saying that Ron has been doing a lot of Facebook Lives and Zoom calls and this type of thing. So most interesting. So will we see a change? I don't know. But that is one thing that you, the voter, has the choice to make. Now, early voting is going on all this week till Friday. You can go here to the Greenwood Library, and you can go over there to 96 to the Visitor Center. Those are the two places. You do need an ID to be able to vote, but it's painless and easy. And if you've made up your mind, you might as well go ahead and get it out of the way, right? Just get it out of the way. That's what you want to do. I don't have anything else to say today. I think it is just such a complicated issues out there. It's hard to figure out what's the best thing, but I hope that at least I give you some thought processes about what you are going to do for the future. And that's what it's all about. Helping you and maybe challenging you to some ideas about what to do. And of course, I always love your input at when we're live on Facebook. Facebook WCRS Radio, and of course 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. You can also comment right there. Let's see if we got anything else here this morning. No, we don't. So that, my friends, is going to do it for me. Remember to sign up for Breakfast for a Bunch. I know you know of a group, or maybe you work in a group that you go, God, it'd be so nice to have Chick-fil-A bring us breakfast. So you can't get considered if you don't sign up. So please go ahead and sign up at 864-332-9355. You can call or you can text right there, and we'll be sure to put that name and group in the pot, because Chick-fil-A, always something delightful and surprising. And I'm going to add one more, delicious, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. That's going to do it for us. Penny, you got anything to say this morning? No, are we going to eat here pretty soon? I'm starving. I don't know if I can make it another minute, Mother. All right, that's going to do it for us. We're going to drop the curtain. Yes, we'll drop the curtain. We will cue the music, and we will say bye-bye, everybody. Take it away.